Let's get educated. That's why we're here, to bring you the stories impacting K-12 classrooms and college campuses. It's time for a little education.
Well, hello, everyone. You know, it's Monday here at the Educated Show, and it just feels like deja vu, like we've been here once before. That's because we have.
Hi. Good morning.
Here
good
we
afternoon.
are. Good
evening if you're watching.
We're here again. I am Katie Petrick, as always, joined by David Fiorazzo, and it's, again, the start of the week, and we got a lot of goodness, including a reminder for you that you can catch Educated on the go by simply subscribing to the podcast on your favorite platform. And, of course, don't forget to download the Freedom Project app. Click yes for notifications. We'll give you all the goods and let you know when a new episode is ready. Speaking of new episodes, David, what are we talking about on Worldview Matters
right
today?
on, worldviewmatters.tv. This morning, Andy Woods, pastor and doctor. He's a teacher, the Bible, and wow, we talked about how the left is pushing to abandon the Constitution. True story. There are some law schools that are pushing to just get rid of the Constitution. Man, they've been beating this drum for decades, the left has. Tomorrow, we're going to talk with Scott Shera, a father who lost his 19-year-old daughter with Down syndrome after a hospital murdered her. And those are Scott's words. You wouldn't believe what they did. And now he's got a lawsuit pending. But anyway, Wednesday, we're going to be talking to former homosexual George Carneal. He's got a book out, From Queer to Christ. God saved his life, man. Brought him out of, I don't know how many years out in Southern California, but I think now he lives down south. But anyway, Thursday, John Haller, he's a prophecy expert. But please subscribe to our updates, worldviewmatters.tv. And also do us a favor, since we are somewhat censored, suppressed a little bit, shadow banned on social media platforms, please share the shows, Worldview Matters, share them and the Educated shows as well. That's how we get out there, guys. And you guys just getting behind it and saying, yeah, I'm going to share this. That's the best thing you can do. Thank you.
All right. Well, you mentioned a John, and I have a John.
You do?
He's my favorite John of all the Johns. The John Johns, always the ones who are current senators in the U.S. Senate. Okay. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, you're about to. The good old boy senator from Louisiana just stunned the establishment that is by reading graphic passages from two controversial books that are being pushed in schools, in the libraries across the whole country. And of course, the good old boy I'm speaking of is my favorite John Kennedy, currently in existence, Senator John Kennedy from Louisiana, the man,
God bless
the myth,
him,
the legend.
Yeah. So before we watch this quick video, I'm going to get to the punchline. Not really a punchline, but here it is. The question becomes, if something is so disturbing in a setting of adults, whether it's a school board meeting or in this case Congress, how much more disturbing is that material in a school where children can access it? So there's the headline: GOP Senator masterfully proves why sexually explicit books don't belong in schools. And he actually forces a Democrat to make a key admission. So we're going to come back and talk about this. We have a lot to say, but watch this video first.
Let's take two books that have been much discussed. The first one is called All Boys Aren't Blue. The second is another much discussed book. I'm sure you're familiar with it. It's called Genderqueer. Are you suggesting that only librarians should decide whether the two books that I just referenced should be available to kids? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Okay. Tell me what you're saying.
Well, first of all, there's this...
Don't give me a speech. Tell me what you're asking me to do.
With all due respect, Senator, the words you spoke are disturbing, especially coming out of your mouth is very disturbing. But what I would also tell you that we're not advocating for kids to read porn, to Senator Booker's point.
What are you advocating for?
We are advocating for parents, random parents, not to have the ability, under the guise of keeping kids safe, to try and challenge the world view of every single manner on these issues.
We are advocating for. I'm about to tell the truth of what we really are trying to do, and I can't cover it up anymore. Oh, no.
So, Katie, what does he mean by random parents?
Oh,
what
exactly.
could he mean by that?
Just
that random parents shouldn't have any
those
say.
random parents, those ones who birth and love the nurture
and
the children.
Raise their children
raise their
and
children
teach
up.
their
Yeah, we
children,
can't have that happen. We can't have that. Just so everyone knows who that lovely character was, that is the Secretary of State from Illinois, named Alexei Giannoulias. Giannoulias. All right. He basically had to sit in front of John Kennedy saying some words about the books All Boys Aren't Blue and Genderqueer.
What could he have been saying?
Some of those words,
by the
which
way?
we will not repeat, or involved putting things on other things, or into things, and kissing things, and
like lube is mentioned.
Yes, that's in there.
Lube,
of course. And strapping certain things in certain places,
pulling something out, getting behind another person, and
doing certain jobs,
sexual activity. Yes.
We've discussed this enough on this show.
This is for kids, guys. That's why did we bring this up?
But as Alexei even said, I mean, his first admission of it, he felt basically uncomfortable to hear you, old man, say it.
Kennedy.
But apparently, it's okay if the children say it in front of me, because that's disgustingly how these adults treat our children. Like, they need to know this information, and this is what they're doing anyway, so it's better that they share with one another so they can do all these things properly.
So again, friends, we find the left backed into our corner because they have no good reason, no excuse that adults are offended by these words, but yet in little kids, in schools or libraries or whatever, they're seeing them in these books. Not only the descriptions, but pictures. Now, they are cartoonish. I mean,
graphic
inside
novels
the books.
is what their terminology.
But they are
they're
graphic.
Cartoons, yes.
It's soft porn, and kids are seeing this. Now, this was at a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing on so-called book bans. This is where the left is arguing free speech.
Free speech.
Nobody should have the right to ban books. We've pushed that so far. Do they really care about young children? No, because they want to indoctrinate them. They want to sexualize them. Free speech doesn't
include the porn for children, but we can't. It's expression, and it's inclusivity, and it's all the terminology that we've been using now to try and excuse putting porn into schools and having our children be exposed to it. That's what's been done.
We will continue to have these conversations, unfortunately. This is where we are. But thank you, sir, and any other congressmen that want to step up and do that, because they're shutting down parents at school board meetings. They're silencing them, cutting off their mics. So at least he was able to say this in that hearing. But anyway, still to come. We're going to now go up to Canada. A school district there reportedly removed all the books. They just got rid of all the books that were published before 2008. In an effort to ensure that all library resources are sufficiently woke and inclusive. We'll talk about that next.
Well, if you are older than 15 years old, are you older than 15 years old?
Yes.
Get out, then. You're no longer welcome at one Canadian school library. But let me rephrase that. If you are a book that is older than 15 years old, then you must burn up, get tossed, or just rip yourself, because the Peel School District in Mississauga, Ontario, has weeded out books in their libraries in an effort to ensure that the library books available to the children's are sufficiently inclusive. Yeah, let's watch this.
Like most libraries in Canada, the school libraries within the Peel District School Board are to weed out books that are damaged, outdated, or irrelevant. But at Peel schools, there's a little bit more to it. Librarians and others have to read the books and ensure that they are inclusive, and also ensure that they don't reinforce racist content or include stereotypes. If they do, they have to go. Now, I spoke with some who are concerned about how all of that is being handled, including some students as well as a group that's against the process.
I'm not comfortable giving anyone the power to be the arbiter on a huge basis of what's right and wrong. from a library's perspective about the totality of ideas that are available.
So staff are supposed to focus on books that were published in 2008 or prior, but that seems to have led to some confusion and half-empty shelves at some schools, like the one you're looking at in Mississauga. Now, we've been told that it appears some schools have simply removed nearly all of the books in the library published in 2008 or prior, which people have a big concern about. There's also seems to be confusion about where these books are supposed to go. Many have actually wound up in the landfill because staff believe that's what they were supposed to do with the books.
See, David, what happens is when you don't open the books up and read the books and learn from the books, then you're just left looking at, gazing at your navel and being like, well, I don't know what to do, so clearly I'm going to toss a book into a landfill. Canada.
Okay, so
better.
if they're damaged, if books are damaged, I get that.
I get that.
Understand
Replace them, though.
Replace them. But they also said if they're outdated or if they're not relevant or if they're not meeting the needs of the students, what does that all mean? That means it's got to go woke. It's got to be sexually appropriate, meaning in the left's language. I mean, it's got to teach all the just graphic garbage and the perversion. And you made an interesting point about the year being 2008.
Why 2008?
They decided to make
Question
this cutoff.
mark. Why 2008? What
Who
happened
was
in
a world
the U.S.?
leader
Yeah, in the U.S.
in North
What happened in
America?
2008? Who
that
maybe
would have
came into
been
office?
The first half black president in the United States.
So
Barack
maybe I don't.
Obama.
Why is it 15 years? Why not 16 years? Why not 24 years? 32
So
years?
they had
I
to
don't
get rid of
understand.
all history before that.
Yeah, maybe that. Canada, what are you doing up there?
Because that had anything to do with biblical morality or the biblical principles of, God's creation, that he created man and woman, also marriage and family, and you can't have those things. So you got to have this wokeness. By the way, they said the things that are going to be in the best interests of the students, and they're going to serve books that are going to be accurate and serve the curriculum.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Exactly.
What kind of books will serve the progressive Canadian school curriculum?
In the words of Canada and everything, and they are the word police up there.
Yeah.
They don't have, Mounties anymore. They have word police.
Well, under
instead.
Emperor Trudeau,
That's just true.
they've regressed. They've now,
According to the actual directive and the words that they used, the board shall evaluate books, media, and all other resources currently in use for teaching and learning English, history, and social sciences. Not math. For the purpose of utilizing resources that are inclusive and culturally responsive, relevant, and reflective, look at the alliteration they used, of students and the board's broader school communities. Books that are published prior to 2008 that are damaged, inaccurate, what does that mean exactly? Yep. Or do not have strong circulation data, that means are not being checked out by students because we don't know what circulation means, will be removed or are removed. The board then clarified when they said damaged books, the ones that are damaged because they may have a strong circulation, maybe they get, beat up a little bit, those will be replaced regardless of the publication date and otherwise older titles that can remain on the library shelves provided that they're accurate. And again, what do you mean by that? So basically all of the graphic novels, like the ones we just talked about in the prior story, that are getting circulated, big fancy word, huh? Checked out by the students. If those are damaged, we're going to replace those. But that Bible, wait a minute, why is that Bible even in here anymore? Toss that thing out.
That's not culturally responsive.
That's not culturally responsive. Or any of the, that bard, that old dead white guy who wrote some plays and some things. They called him Billy, I think. Billy's spear or something. He shook. I don't know. William Shakespeare. Okay.
Billy.
I just call him Billy. Billy the Bard. Anyway, this is what's happening in Canada. And just so everyone knows, other books that have gotten supposedly tossed out, according to Diane Lawson, who is a member of the Libraries Not Landfills group, she said that they had removed books such as The Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank. And if you haven't read this book, then you're needing to go to a library and get that book. If it's still out there.
Why would they remove that one?
And of course, the children's book, The Very Hungry Caterpillar, which is just a lovely story about a very hungry caterpillar learning how to eat red apples, oranges.
Well, that's benign. But
we have to get rid of it, apparently, according to
But the Diary
this.
of Anne Frank, now she talks about her family in the Holocaust during that time and what was going on. and a lot more than that from a young girl's perspective. But
apparently
why
it's not
would
good
they
enough
get
in
rid of that
Canada.
one?
Nope.
It's not woke enough?
Not woke enough. Wake up, it says. All right, well, we're going to move on because we need to get to what I'm calling pretty much one of the most ridiculous stories of the year. We have a first grade student in Alabama who was suspended for the grave sin of playing cops and robbers at recess time.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that one next.
Today's show is sponsored by our friends at MyPillow. Save up to 66% on pristine quality bedding, towels, slippers, signature pillows, and much more when you use the code EDUCATED. That's EDUCATED. Educated. Support this show and a great American company.
Do not be a 6-year-old with an imagination if you live in the state of Alabama, because your school may suspend you. We have a school in Jefferson City, Alabama, who decided to suspend a first grader, a 6-year-old boy, because at recess time, instead of just sitting there and crying or doing nothing like a bump on a log, he decided to go out and use his imagination with another kid and play cops and robbers. So cops and robbers, that means he pointed his finger and had the thumb up, and it made it look like a gun, and so he must be suspended. Now, according to the 6-year-old boy's father, Jared Belcher, he received a Class 3 suspension, which is the most serious in the whole school system.
Jeez.
And the suspension prohibited the boy from returning to school until they had a conference. And the suspension apparently is the same level, playing cops and robbers, as if you actually burned the school, if you had an arson to the school, or if you assaulted someone, or if you sold drugs, or if you made bomb threats. Same thing, because of a 6-year-old boy. Take a look.
Jared Belcher says he nor his 6-year-old have had any issues with Jefferson County school system until last Friday, when he got a call from his son's school asking for him to be picked up because he had been suspended.
I sat down and I asked her, I said, "Can you tell me what happened?" And she proceeds to tell me that my son and another boy, they were playing with each other, playing cops and robbers, and using their index finger as a gun.
Belcher's son was given a Class 3 violation, which is also given to students who bring weapons to school. Belcher was told his son would be barred from school grounds until a hearing could be held.
I said, "Okay, did he threaten anyone?" No. Was there any violence? No. Was there any indication of a current or future threat? No. So I said, well, this kind of seems pretty benign to me. It sounds like two first graders playing. And she said it was, but in this climate, this day and age, we have to take all incidents very seriously.
The assistant principal told Belcher that what his son did was outlined in the Jefferson County Student Handbook as a violation, but after looking through it himself, Belcher says he couldn't find anything that was similar to what his son did.
What they should have done was pulled him to the side and said, "Hey, if this is not appropriate at school," and that should have solved it. Or they could have called me and I would have handled it.
We call that common sense.
This is
common sense. It's gone. Bye-bye. No longer exists here.
If you're going to do this at this level, is it 6-year-old?
6 years old.
If you're going to do this at this level, why don't you go to the inner cities in America where there's real gun violence, where there's murders every weekend, and all week long the shooting and the deaths, especially Chicago, hello, off the chart. But there's no answer for that. You're not worried about that. You're worried about little kids playing cops and robbers with using their hands as a fake. So I understand you're trying to say, okay, guns are not good, or you shouldn't play with guns. Make that point, great. But to punish this little kid, to make an example out of him.
And that's what we do. We treat the kids as if they're little adults, so we need to punish them hard.
Wow.
And we need to expose them to sexual deviances and all that.
Yep.
Adult issues. At younger,
goes.
they need that. But if they're adults and they do something bad, like, shoot people and all that, then they get treated like children again.
What if you
see? This is we have a completely backwards society right now when it comes to this stuff. Now, so that Class 3 did get downgraded to a Class 2. Whoopity-doo,
wow. My
right?
goodness.
Now, and there's a letter that was sent to the school by a group, the Gun Owners of America and Bama Carry. And they said it's too little too late to go from a 3 to a 2. And they said the entire disciplinary action should be rescinded. And the policy that led to that suspension should be amended. Now, in the letter, it said, in other words, the school charged a 6-year-old boy with an infraction equivalent to a felony crime, which is true. The irony is not lost on the kid's parents that, I guess, intentionally hitting, pushing, kicking, or otherwise being physically aggressive with another student is a class 2 infraction. So initially, this little boy, 6 years old, was charged with a higher infraction than if he would have, and this is in the words of this letter, in other words, he would be subject to a lesser maximum penalty had he punched the other student in the face. So the little boy's playing cops and robbers, all that, you should have just went and punched him in the face. Kicked him, pushed him down, stomped on him. It would have been a lesser offense. That's where we are with trying to understand.
That's the government-run school
system
system and how they are trying to train and teach young children about morals, guns,
or lack thereof,
whatever else. Yeah.
Now we have a lack thereof. All right. Well, more importantly, still to come, the nation's largest fast food chain, the McDonald's, is planning a major shakeup, and customers are simply not happy about it.
Uh-oh.
And we're going to talk about the Golden Arches and what's happening there when we return.
If you have a smartphone, tablet, Roku, or Apple TV, consider downloading the Freedom Project Media app. It's 100% free and includes all of our weekly shows, plus lecture series, archive programs, and award-winning animated videos for families like the Presidential Minute, Battles of America, and Heroes of the West. Don't rely on the social media giants to keep you informed. Simply download the Freedom Project Media app from your app store and allow notifications. And we'll let you know when a new video is ready.
What's going on? What's going on? McDonald's, have you lost your mind? No, I'm kidding. It's not that bad. So they're phasing out self-serve soda stations. And they're testing out all the possible soda combinations at your local McDonald's. It may one day become a thing of the past. Well, McDonald's USA has confirmed that it will be phasing out what has become a signature part of the McDonald's experience, and that would be self-serve beverage stations like most restaurants or fast food places have. This means they'll no longer will customers be handed an empty cup by an employee and say, go add ice or your beverage or whatever. They're transitioning away from self-service stations in their dining rooms across the U.S. by the year, was it 2032? Did I see that right?
Something around there. It's a whiles away.
Oh, 2020.
Well, actually, it said
there's two different ones.
There was certain place said they were able to do it sooner rather than later. So I guess McDonald's being a little wishy-washy on their timelines, probably to keep you in suspense. You had me there, David, in suspense.
I did.
But then I was like, I'm gonna have a heart attack, and then I realized it was probably the Big Mac that would have caused that, not what you said. It's all right. I don't eat McDonald's, so it wouldn't have been that for me. No, what are your thoughts, David, on this whole situation? Are you devastated?
Well, since I don't go to McDonald's,
if you're not devastated, then either.
Yeah.
This is big breaking news to.
No,
I don't know who. Maybe one person.
They want to have someone go out and serve after you get your full cup, your full soda, whatever. Do you still get free refills?
Yep, you do.
Okay.
You just have to go back. But
you just have to go back.
These are the people who, like, anyone who's outraged, quite frankly, on this story, maybe is at McDonald's a little bit too much. Maybe we need to reevaluate some things. But basically, I mean, McDonald's has how many restaurants? From an actual economic standpoint, this is a business move. It's smart of them to get rid of those soda stations because they will end up in the long run saving soda because, oh no, I have to go talk to someone and to get another refill. Oh, and the fact that someone doesn't have to go out and clean them anymore. Someone in the story said, or in the comment section on it said, well, the one at my local place is moldy half the time.
Ooh.
I'm like, oh.
Okay.
So there's there's something. So yeah, it's a purely business move.
Someone
Money
else said,
move.
"This is the worst idea ever."
Exactly.
It's hard enough to get someone to get you a refill, and you can forget getting the ice level you want.
Oh
So,
my,
goodness,
Karen,
so people-
Karen, get off the internet, Karen.
All right, yeah, first world problems. First world problems. Oh, I can't get if I don't do it myself, I can't get that ice level 2 beverage.
Look at this. Someone else said,
Are we really having issues over this?
Someone else said, I go inside so I can fill my own drink. 3 exclamation points. I like lots of ice and mostly unsweet with a little sweet tea. Exclamation point. Will not go to McDonald's if I can't fill my own drink. Period. Good. Goodbye. Nice seeing you.
But, you know, I think a lot
Goodbye.
of...
Seeing you. Have a good day.
A lot of places will go to this because you said it right. It's a business move.
It's a purely business move. Goodness gracious.
All those extra refills and the half, filled cups that get thrown out, that's going to add up after a while.
And the mold adds up.
I don't know about that. But anyway. Oh, Katie.
Anyway, on that note, if you are a fan of this show, maybe I just lost you there. If you could, please like, comment, share.
Come back.
Subscribe. Everything that you're supposed to do on social media type things, please do that. And also, hey, if you're a fan of the video platform we have our show put on the Rumble, and we
subscribe.
Subscribe to it. We just launched a new channel there. So simply visit rumble.com/FreedomProject and give the channel a little follow. They follow over there. They don't subscribe, they follow. So
okay.
I'm learning the lingo
I got it.
Oh, you already know it. All right. Well, for David and myself, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and thank you for supporting what we do. Until next time, stay educated.